Part 1 Specflow tutorial, BDD and a Specflow. So in this session we are going to learn about a BDD and a Specflow. So let me start this session. To understand a BDD, first we need to understand a TDD. So TDD is a test driven development model. So test driven development model is to guide the development with an example to develop each function of your software. So workflow is as simple as it shows. You think, discuss and then come up with the ideas. So these ideas will be converted into the test. So with the first test being expected to fail and a code is written later, and that will enable the test to pass. Once a test has passed, that code will be refactored further, eventually arrive at the best design. So this newly refactored code will continue to put under test until the design has been finalized. This process we use to write the test and a code. Now the question comes up, what is a BDD? So BDD is a behavior driven development model. So this BDD is also a test first approach. When we are saying BDD and a TDD, both are the same, but the TDD is responsible for the development of individual functions based upon examples. On the other hand, BDDs also have a similar process but at the level of the feature. In BDD, we concentrate at the feature level, and if you talk about a TDD, we concentrate at the function level. So this is the major difference between the BDD and the TDD. In a real world, we express our need or feature in a natural language. So the BDD starts creating examples in a natural and understandable language, or you can say with the help of the examples to make these examples in a workable model. So BDD needs a little structure, and this structure helps to bridge the gap between a world of programming and a natural language, and BDD consists of one or more scenarios. So these scenarios are nothing but an examples. So these scenarios are examples how application should behave from a user point of view. Take an example of here, given I am on the login page, when I attempt to log in with the valid credentials, then I am shown the application dashboard. Another example is, given I am on the login page, when I attempt to log in with the invalid credentials, then I am shown a login error message. Behind these statements, developer write the code. We can say these are the steps, and every step has a corresponding step definitions. The step definitions is nothing but a code which the developer is going to write it to perform some action for the each step which we have written it here. So these feature files act as a requirement for the user, and these requirements are associated with the program. Unlike other documents, these feature files will be executed against the code written by the developers. Any change in the software is verified with examples written in the feature files, and you can say in the process. Not only this BDD streamline this requirement, even it brings a QAs in the development process. So when we guys are talking about a BDD, so BDD also have a few advantages. One is inclusion. Workflow is as simple as the illustration below shows. You think, discuss and come up with ideas. So these ideas will be converted into the test, with the first test being expected to fail and a code is written later that will enable the test to pass. So when the test has passed, the code will be refactored further, eventually arrive at the best design. So this newly refactored code will continue to be put under test until the design has been finalized. Another advantage is a code reusable. So when we guys are talking about a given, when, then, so these steps can be reused between the scenarios. Take an example of here, I am saying given I am on the login page. So whenever you are testing any of the application, so this step can be reused. It means we can reuse the codes which we have written it for this particular step. At the end, we can say, so this BDD help us to perform a code reusable. If you talk about the end user satisfaction, the main objective of the end user satisfaction is to provide a bug-free code as well as to provide the product as per the requirement. So with the help of this behavior driven development model, we can provide an end user satisfaction. So this is another advantage for us. Another is a high visibility, or you can say it's a communication. Software development is not about the software engineers or developers only. So they are the testers, PMs, POs, DevOps and other stakeholders as well. So BDD ensures everyone is roped in the loop right from the beginning and throughout the process, so which is journal in the fosters a quality communication. So when we guys are talking about the BDD, we need to use this BDD and use this BDD with a Specflow approach as well. So Specflow is a test automation solution for a .NET built upon a BDD paradigm. So the tests are written using a Gherkin language, which allows you to write test cases using a different unnatural languages. So Specflow supports a BDD. So whenever you want to write a test cases, we are going to use this Specflow to write the test case, and this Specflow is going to use a Gherkin language. So Gherkin is nothing but a simple plain English language which help us to write a different test cases in a simple plain English language. So this Gherkin is not going to support only a English language, but this Gherkin is supporting a 70 different languages. So you can use these 70 different languages to write the test cases. If you talk about the Specflow, Specflow is open source and providing the functions for a binding Gherkin feature files. So whenever you want to write the test cases with the help of this Specflow, we can write a more customized test cases which is more understandable from the client perspective as well as the developer's perspective as well. If you talk about the additional resources, I have already created one course that is on the Udemy, and that course help you to learn a professional automation framework creation with the C#, Specflow and the Selenium. So that course is going to help us to create an enterprise level automation framework with the different design patterns, builder design pattern, singleton design pattern, a strategy design pattern, and dependency injection design pattern. So this is the one of the most important design pattern where we guys are not creating the object with the help of the new operator. So this dependency injection design pattern helping us to create the object without utilizing a new operator. Another is a IOC design pattern. So these all design patterns helping a automation framework which we have created in this Udemy course, making a more robust and a more reliable as well. So this course help us to build the thought pattern for designing and targeting the framework, and this course also help us to build the capabilities to understand any complex code base. So after completing the course, you will able to create your own professional level automation framework. After completing this course, you will able to create your own professional level automation framework from the scratch, not with this language but with the other languages as well, because a framework development is not dependent on any of the language. So framework code also uploaded with the course. If you want, you can enroll that particular course on the Udemy. Please subscribe this channel to have the notifications of a new automation related sessions.